I'm Darshit Khani. Today I'm talking about my assignment, and in this assignment in readme section, this assignment, my task is to insert a status code in each and every response, and use try catch to handle error. In previous JWT token assignment, and other task is do authorization authorization code, to write authorization code to check whether the user is authorized to change or not. So here is the logic. I created two middleware. One is authentication and second is authorization. And I use this second time because I cannot directly access this decoded token. And now the decoded, now we check user authorization. So here is the logic. We here we get user ID from the Postman's params, and this user ID will check here. This user ID gets checked with decoded token. Decoded token is here. So here you can check user is not authorized to change. This is another user ID by which I want to change something in the body, user ID and password, but I cannot change because in the decoded token I have another user ID which I used for login at that time that this token was created. So this token will decoded here after hitting update user data API. But here is another here is another ID. So it will check here. Both will compare, and if not, if user ID is wrong, means another user ID by which user try to change data. So here we write a function return and response that you are not authorized to change. So first of all we check authentication, and after that we always check authorization. And authorization, we no need to authorize in every API. So I use this here in a router. In router, and here this is 1, 2 and 3, and I use update user. Here is authorization. I used here authorization. So first of all, this auth mid is for to check authentication. If authentication is done, after that authorization will check. And if this is also done, so middleware will pass this pass to here user controller, and after that all the API response cycle will complete, otherwise it will break. And in user now, our task is now my task was also to add try and catch in in every scenario we where we thought we can think that error can possible and server will crash. So there we use try and catch. Try and catch is error handling. So if everything is okay, we will add this code into try block, and if any error occurs at that time, catch blocks will run, and this response will get to the client side, will send to the client side, and response cycle will end here. This type. In this scenario, our response cycle is not terminating, but it is successfully ending by showing this error message, and our server will continually starting. If we don't use try catch, so in this scenario, our may server may crash if any code is given error. So we use try catch. So this is my API 1. This is my old API. Update user API, get user data, and login user, can create user. So I wrap up this code in try, and if any error occurs, then catch will run. This will not run, so catch will run, and we got an error, and we will get error, right? So this is how the program works and the flow will works. Now let's check this status. So this status is shows that in the postman body, here you can check that 403. So I first of all I try to understand you first this, so we can so here can clear something. In authentication middleware, this is middleware, and I use what I do. I want to change another user. I want to change data of another user. I logged in already, and now I want to change another user's data by their user ID. So what will happen? Um, we are not authorized. We will not authorized as per our code, and the status code is, if I remove the status code, will authorize. Okay, I remove this, and let's check what will happen here. So here is also 200, but this is here is wrong, because by default the postman shows 200 code, but it is not right. So we need to explicitly change status code here, so we can observe that here will some kind of error. What type of error? If 403 means user is forbidden. User are not authorized to change any other user detail. Okay, and then this code will shows here. Check 403. So these HTTP status code um, are these are made by authorities, and they will maintain this status code. And what is useful for which status code, which value is true. So let's check here also. It is also important. Status code, if everything was okay, is everything is okay, then status code is 200. So in my code you can see that in a user control everything is okay, and I want to create a user, means I want to add entry in the database. So I used 201 status code. uh, Status code starting from 2 meaning successful responses. It means also that successfully response cycle request response cycle completed. Here are many more status code, but we only need some we only want to know some famous code. So here is 200 the result meaning success. If everything okay, 200 status code will display on the postman. But in first API, what we did, I created entry in 201. So this code is 201. And for 202 accepted, and 204 is for no content. And here is the, if server side error, then we use 500 user code. And generally um, in catch, whatever error will show are from the server side. It means we need to use 500 or 501 as per the particular data. And if we try to, if in this code, if I not use token, means error from client side, so I will use 400 or 401, this type. 400 is bad unauthorized user. Here 3 is meant 400, 401, 403 and 404. 400 means the server cannot not process the request due to something that is received to be a client error, syntax error, invalid request message framing. It all are considered in the 400. 401 unauthorized user means similarly this response mean unauthenticated, means if user try to log in, but but it gives it give they try to your login, but they give wrong ID password, so user will not authorized. And then we use 401 status code, and it will display on the postman also. So this is my whole assignment. First of all, I need to write status code in the program. These all are done. Second is I need to do add in my task is to add try and catch in all the API. It is also done. And I third task is to create authorization, and it is also done in middleware. So this is my assignment. Thank you.